You feel that familiar burning in your chest. Maybe it's after a heavy meal or right before bed. You reach for an antacid thinking it's just heartburn. But what if it's not? What if that small discomfort is your body's final warning before a much bigger problem? One that could lead to internal bleeding, a perforated stomach, or even a trip to the emergency room. Every year, thousands of people ignore these early signs, thinking they'll pass. But ulcers don't always shout. They whisper, quietly eroding your insides until it's too late to fix without surgery. In this video, we're breaking down the truth about ulcers, what causes them, how to spot the real warning signs, and what treatments actually work before things spiral out of control. Because by the time most people act, the damage is already done. Stick around till the end. This could literally save your life, or someone you care about. Let's clear something up right away. An ulcer is not just irritation, it's a wound. A literal open sore in the lining of your stomach, small intestine, or esophagus. And just like a wound on your skin, if it's not treated, it can get worse. Much worse. Inside your stomach, there's a constant battle going on. On one side, you have hydrochloric acid, a powerful substance designed to break down food. On the other, a protective mucus lining that shields your stomach from being digested by its own acid. When that protective barrier weakens, acid burns through the lining, creating a raw, painful crater we call an ulcer. These ulcers can form in different places, each with its own danger. In the stomach, they're called gastric ulcers. In the duodenum, the first part of the small intestine, they're duodenal ulcers. And in the esophagus, they're esophageal ulcers, often caused by chronic acid reflux. The danger? These wounds don't always hurt right away. Some never hurt at all. Many people live with ulcers for months, even years, without knowing. Until one day, it ruptures or bleeds, turning a quiet problem into a medical emergency. You might feel some indigestion, you might feel nothing. But inside, your body is fighting to contain a wound that's slowly digging deeper with every meal, every acid surge, every day you wait. Understanding what an ulcer actually is and where it hides is the first step to stopping it before it stops you. Here's the cruel irony about ulcers. The early symptoms are so easy to brush off, most people do. A little bloating after dinner, a mild burning in the chest, maybe some nausea in the morning. We tell ourselves it's just spicy food, or maybe stress. But that's exactly how ulcers stay hidden, by mimicking normal discomfort. The most common warning sign is a burning or gnawing pain in the upper abdomen. It often strikes between meals or late at night, when your stomach is empty and acid production is high. You might find temporary relief after eating or popping an antacid, but that relief is deceptive. It's the ulcer being numbed, not healed. The location of the pain can actually tell you something. If eating makes the pain better, it could be a duodenal ulcer. If eating makes it worse, it might be a gastric ulcer. But not all signs come as pain. You might notice frequent burping or bloating, a strange feeling of fullness after eating just a few bites, loss of appetite, and even unexplained weight loss. These signs are subtle. That's the trap. You adapt. You live with it. And the ulcer grows silently deeper. In more advanced cases, ulcers begin to bleed. And that's when symptoms become urgent. Black tarry stools, vomiting that looks like coffee grounds, or just a sudden deep fatigue from hidden blood loss. These are not just digestive issues anymore. These are emergency warnings. Yet most people wait. They reach for over-the-counter remedies, thinking they're solving the problem. But they're only hiding it. If you've had these symptoms more than a few days, or if they keep coming back, don't guess, don't wait. Your body is waving a red flag. Before we continue, hit the like button if you're finding this helpful. And don't forget to subscribe and tap the bell icon so you never miss videos that could protect your health or someone you love. So what actually causes these ulcers to form in the first place? You might think it's stress or spicy food, but those are just triggers, not the root problem. The real villains are far more dangerous and often completely invisible. The biggest culprit? A sneaky bacterium called Helicobacter pylori or H. pylori. It infects the stomach lining and quietly inflames it over time, weakening the protective mucus layer. Most people don't even know they have it. No symptoms for years. But while you go about your life, it's slowly eating away at your stomach from the inside. Next up are the medications you probably have in your home right now NSAIDs, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs like ibuprofen, aspirin, and naproxen. Millions rely on them daily for pain relief, but when taken frequently, especially on an empty stomach, they can destroy the very lining meant to protect your digestive system. They reduce substances called prostaglandins, which your body uses to guard against acid. Without them, your stomach is defenseless. And there's more. Steroids, often used for arthritis or autoimmune conditions, can also raise ulcer risk. Certain cancer treatments, bisphosphonates for osteoporosis, and even SSRIs for depression can worsen your chances. Rare but real, Zollinger-Ellison syndrome, a condition where acid-producing tumors flood your stomach with more acid than it can handle. Then there's your lifestyle, which can add fuel to the fire. Smoking slows healing and cuts off blood flow to the stomach lining. Alcohol increases acid production and damages your gut lining. Irregular meals, poor sleep, and chronic stress don't cause ulcers directly, but they make your body less able to protect and repair itself. Combine just 2 of these factors, say H. pylori and daily ibuprofen, and you've got a perfect storm for a silent, growing ulcer. And by the time symptoms kick in, the damage may already be done. Here's the truth. You can't diagnose an ulcer just by how it feels. Ulcer symptoms mimic so many other digestive issues, acid reflux, indigestion, even gallbladder problems, that guessing is a gamble. To know for sure, doctors need to see what's happening inside you. The gold standard? An upper endoscopy, also called an EGD. It's a procedure where a thin, flexible tube with a camera is passed through your mouth, down your throat, and into your stomach and small intestine. Sounds intense, but it's quick, usually painless, and gives doctors a real-time view of your digestive lining. They're not just looking for a sore spot. They check the size and depth of the ulcer, whether it's actively bleeding, and whether there's any sign of stomach cancer. In many cases, they'll take a biopsy, a tiny tissue sample, to test for H. pylori or rule out malignancy. That step is critical, especially for people over 50, where stomach ulcers can sometimes mask more serious issues. Not ready for an endoscopy? There are non-invasive options too. Urea breath test, stool antigen test, blood antibody test. These can detect H. pylori, but they don't show how damaged your stomach actually is. And be warned, blood tests can stay positive long after the infection's gone, so they're not always reliable. Doctors also ask about medication history. If you regularly take NSAIDs, steroids, or even over-the-counter. Pain meds, that's a red flag. Many people take these drugs for years without realizing the slow destruction happening inside. The bottom line? If you've had ongoing stomach discomfort, unexplained fatigue, or any signs of bleeding, don't settle for guesswork. You need clear answers, because treating the wrong thing wastes time your body can't afford to lose. When people finally get diagnosed with an ulcer, the first instinct is often to just stop the pain. But that's not the goal. The real goal is to heal the wound, eliminate the cause, and stop the destruction before it becomes irreversible. If H. pylori is the culprit, and it often is, doctors prescribe a combination of 2 antibiotics and a proton pump inhibitor, PPI. This triple therapy attacks the bacteria while reducing stomach acid, giving the ulcer a chance to heal. For more resistant cases, a quadruple therapy adds bismuth to the mix for an even stronger punch. PPIs like omeprazole or lansoprazole are among the most effective medications for reducing acid. They're usually taken for 4 to 8 weeks depending on severity. And yes, they work. But they're not instant. Many people stop early as soon as the pain goes away. That's a mistake. Healing takes time, even if the symptoms vanish quickly. If your ulcer wasn't caused by H. pylori, acid suppression is still essential. H2 blockers like ranitidine were once popular, but PPIs are stronger and more reliable. Some doctors may also recommend sucralfate, a protective coating that shields the ulcer from more acid. And here's something most people don't realize. Antacids, those chewable tablets we all reach for, don't treat the ulcer. They only neutralize acid temporarily. That might make you feel better, but the wound stays open. If NSAIDs caused your ulcer, the priority is stopping the medication. But do not do this on your own. You need a plan. If those drugs are treating something serious like arthritis or inflammation, your doctor may switch you to a safer alternative or prescribe a protective medication to take alongside it. And while surgery is rare today, it's not off the table. If your ulcer bleeds uncontrollably, refuses to heal, or causes a perforation, you'll need urgent surgical care. The biggest mistake people make? Treating the symptom, not the cause. Pain relief is not the same as healing, and delaying real treatment just gives the ulcer more time to grow and more opportunity to turn deadly. Most people never think an ulcer could land them in the ER, but it happens every single day. Here's how it begins. You've had stomach pain for weeks, maybe some black stool, or you feel unusually tired. You assume it's diet or stress. Then suddenly, you collapse. By the time the ambulance arrives, you're dangerously anemic or bleeding internally. It's no longer just a stomach problem. It's a full-blown medical crisis. There are 3 major complications that turn ulcers into emergencies. 1. Bleeding ulcer. When an ulcer erodes a blood vessel, it causes internal bleeding. You may vomit blood or throw up something that looks like coffee grounds. Your stool may turn black and tar-like. Even if you don't notice the blood, you might feel lightheaded, pale, or unusually weak. That's your body screaming for help. 2. Perforated ulcer. This is when the ulcer creates a hole in the stomach or intestinal wall. Stomach acid and partially digested food leak into your abdominal cavity. The result? Peritonitis, a severe infection that spreads fast and can be fatal without emergency surgery. Symptoms include sudden stabbing abdominal pain, a rock-hard belly, fever, and even shock. 3. Gastric outlet obstruction. Sometimes chronic ulcers swell or scar over time, blocking the exit of the stomach. You feel full after a few bites, vomit undigested food hours later, and slowly waste away because nothing stays down. These aren't rare side effects. They're real consequences of waiting too long, misdiagnosing yourself, or thinking it's just heartburn. And in older adults, these complications escalate faster, with higher risk of death or permanent damage. The worst part? All of this is preventable. If you act early, ulcers are manageable. But if you ignore the signs, you might not get a second chance. Ulcers don't have to happen. In fact, most are preventable if you know what to look out for and take action early. Start with your medications. If you regularly take NSAIDs like ibuprofen, aspirin, or naproxen, talk to your doctor about safer alternatives or protective options. These drugs are powerful, but so is the damage they can do to your stomach lining over time. Never take them on an empty stomach, and never self-medicate long-term without supervision. If you've ever had an ulcer, or if you're over 50 and still taking painkillers daily, your doctor may prescribe a proton pump inhibitor as a protective measure. Next, quit smoking. It doesn't just harm your lungs, it starves your stomach lining of the oxygen and blood flow it needs to repair itself. Healing slows, ulcers linger. Then there's alcohol. Regular drinking can erode your stomach's defenses and increase acid production. If you're at risk, limit or avoid alcohol entirely. Your diet also plays a key role. While spicy food doesn't cause ulcers, it can irritate an existing one. Focus instead on high-fiber foods like fruits, vegetables, and whole grains. Fermented foods like yogurt or kimchi to support healthy gut bacteria. Avoiding long stretches without meals, empty stomachs equal acid spikes. Also, take stress seriously. While it's not a direct cause, chronic stress alters digestion and can aggravate existing ulcers. Sleep, hydration, and regular meals aren't just for energy. They help keep your gut stable. Finally, if you've had symptoms, even mild ones, for more than a few days, get tested for H. pylori. A simple breath or stool test can detect the bacteria early before it causes permanent damage. Because here's the truth, ulcers don't need to be dangerous. They become dangerous when you ignore them. So the next time you feel that burning in your stomach or chest, don't just brush it off. It might not be heartburn. It might be something far more serious and far more dangerous. Ulcers don't heal themselves. They grow, they bleed, and they break you down from the inside out. But if caught early, they're treatable, even curable. You just have to act before it's too late. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up. And if you want more health videos that actually explain what's going on inside your body, hit that subscribe button and tap the bell so you never miss an upload. Know someone who keeps saying it's just heartburn? Send this video to them. You could be saving a life. And finally, let us know in the comments. Have you ever ignored a symptom that turned out to be serious?